This is Marcia II. I have another yoga video for you. So, yoga mat is great if you don't have that. Anything is fine as far as type of floor, just not too slippery. Water bottle, towel. If you need blocks, you have them. That's wonderful. If you don't have them, don't worry about it. You can stack some books. You can have a few towels or blankets stacked on top of one another. The reason for that is sometimes we just need to bring the floor up a little bit towards us. So let's come into our first pose, child's pose. Our toes are together, our knees are open. We are pushing our hips back, lengthening our arms in front of us, bringing our forehead down to the floor, taking a couple of first deep breaths. Now, if your arms extended is not comfortable for your shoulders, go ahead and bend your elbows a little bit. It is completely fine. Deep breaths in and out through your nose. Every time you inhale, I'd like you to lengthen your spine a little bit longer. On the exhale, push your hips back towards your heels. Bring your chest, your shoulders a little bit farther down to the floor. Give me a couple more, 2 more breath cycles. So we go for the inhale and exhale. Again, we inhale and we exhale. Good. Staying in this pose, we are going to walk our hands over to the right. You are going to feel a stretch from the left shoulder to the left hip. Some of you are going to be able to stack that left hand on top of the right. Do what feels comfortable for you. Remember, we are still warming up the body. It will take a little bit of time. So inhale for length, exhale for depth. And we're going to go to the other side. Over to the left. Again, maybe you want to start out with your right hand right next to your left hand. Feel what your body can do today. Maybe you can stack whatever feels good for you. We're here to create length. We are here to create a little bit of calmness. Starting breathing in and out through our nose. Coming back to the front. And then we're going to come back up into our tabletop position, making sure our knees under our hips, hands are under our shoulders. Now, spread out your fingers, and I want you to concentrate on pressing the pad of your thumb and your index finger into the floor. Takes a little bit of the stress out of our wrists. Inhale, we lengthen our spine. Lift our chin, and then exhale. Squeeze your glutes, tuck your tailbone under, and then round your back. Again, give me a couple cycles here. As you bring yourself into that cow stretch, I want you to focus on starting the movement from the tailbone. So you're really going to tuck that tailbone under. You should start feeling the stretch in the low back before it comes back into the mid and upper back. One more. See if you can bring your fingers to the back. We probably have all been sitting a little bit more than we normally do. We want to stretch out that forearm. If you've been typing, using your phone a lot, this is going to be tight. So if you can bring your gaze over your right shoulder towards the right foot, back through the center, and again, do with your hands so what feels good for you. There we go. Now rotate the fingers back to the front, look back over your right shoulder, push your left rib cage to the left. And coming through the center, over to the left, right rib cage comes out. Good. Push your hips back. My hips are going to stay away from my heels. I am bending my elbows. And then what I want you to do is, as though your palms are grabbing the mat and pulling the mat towards you. What do you feel? You're going to feel heat in your shoulders, in your arms. Now relax, just push your hips back. Lengthen your spine. Do it again. Lift the hips, bend the elbows. Make sure that your wrists and your elbows and your shoulders are in line. Pressing, pressing. And then back on all fours. Gently coming up. I am mirroring you here, so what you are going to do is step your right foot forward. We're coming into a kneeling position. I want you to open up the hip flexors because, again, we have been sitting a little bit longer. So squeeze the right glute, the butt. Press the hips forward. What do you feel? You should feel the opening up of the hip and the upper quad. We're going to stay here, bringing our fingertips to the base of the skull. Without moving our hips, we are slowly going to rotate the torso left to right. We're just warming up our core a little bit because all of our standing poses in yoga require lots of core strength. One more. Release, bring your right hand on your right thigh. Bring your left arm overhead and gently bend over to the right. Feeling that left shoulder moving away from the right hip. Gently coming up, and we are switching. If this is too much for your knees, put a towel under your knee. Left foot is forward, that right hip presses forward. So squeeze the glute. Once you are there, fingertips behind the base of the skull, rotate. Engage the core, engage the glute. Use your breath. In general, think about the exhale coming on the effort. So my effort is definitely my twist. That's when I'm exhaling. A couple more. And center. Back. Good. Left hand on the thigh. Right arm up. Bending over. So before we go into the stretch, on your inhale, I want you to reach that arm up towards the ceiling. On the exhale, you're going into your depth. Excellent. Coming back. One more on our knees. Both knees down. Hip width. Coming up. Lots of tension into those hips. We're going side to side. I want you to focus on keeping the hips still. So it is not pushing the hips out, right? Nothing happens in the core here. In order to keep those hips still, I have to squeeze my glute muscles over and up. If this is not comfortable for your shoulders, again, always a bend in the elbows is going to be a release through the shoulders. Last one. Excellent. Hands down, back into all fours. Now just curl your toes under. I want you to hold it here for just a breath, stretching the bottoms of your feet. And then we are going to lift up the knees, lift up the hips, push back into down dog. It is a little bit shorter, but that's okay. We're just getting into this stretch. Couple of breaths. Every exhale, maybe your chest can come a little bit lower. Maybe your heels can come a little bit lower to the floor. Bend your knees. Come into a plank. Now you're going to probably have to adjust your feet. Pull up your thighs. Have the feeling as though your knees are coming towards your hips. Instead of just holding it in this plank, what are your arms doing? Inside of your elbows, biceps, see if you can rotate them a little bit to the front. You should feel your back engaging more. Press into the fingers, index, thumb. Now lift your hips. We're going to come into our down dog. A little bit bigger position here. Gently walk your feet out. Just go ahead and pedal. This is an awesome stretch for your calves. Give me a couple more. And then both heels down. Lifting the heels up. Bring them over to one side. Bring them back through the center. Over to the other side. Good. Back into our plank. Now, We are just with straight knees, as straight as you can. We're going to walk the feet up towards our hands, keeping the feet hip width apart. Hold on to the floor. So if that means you need to bend your legs a little bit, it's fine. If this is the time that you want to grab your blocks, perfect. With your hands still on the floor, on the block, just kind of move your head around. Get rid of the tension in your neck and your shoulders. Now grab the belly button, bring it up towards the spine, bring your hands on your shins, grab the opposite elbows, ragdoll. So we're opening up the low back here, hamstrings. Again, the crown of your head should be towards the floor. I want your neck to be completely relaxed. Swing from side to side, nice and gentle. Bring the hands on the shin, lengthen your back so there is a lot of space from the crown of my head towards my tailbone. Lift the belly up, bring your navel to your spine. And coming down into our forward fold. Step back into our plank. Push back into down dog. Three-legged dog. Our right leg is going to lift. Doesn't matter how high it is. I don't want that right shoulder to open up. So in order to keep my shoulder squared off, I am pressing into the right palm. Bend your right knee. Bring your right foot as close to the left butt as you can. Open up the hip. Open up the hip. Lengthen that leg again. Bring the leg down. Now in this down dog, you're going to bend your knees. Press your hips to the back. Feels good, right? All those lats are stretching out. Good. Come back into your down dog. Left leg. Bring up. Left shoulder, left palm into the floor. Bend your left knee, bring your left foot towards your right hip. Feel the stretching through the hip. Bringing it up and down. Back into down dog. Bend the knees, push the hips back. Down dog. Again, walk the feet up, hip width apart, and bend the knees slightly, squeeze your butt, slowly, slowly being the key. Rolling up, head comes up last, roll the shoulders back, inhale, arms up overhead, exhale, arms open, bending the knees slightly, coming into our forward fold, hands on the shins, lengthen the back, coming back into our forward fold. Remember to relax the back of your neck, bend the knees slightly, squeeze your butt, rolling up, arms overhead, going again, forward fold. Hands on shins, lengthen the back, draw your belly up, coming back into our forward fold, bend the knees slightly, squeeze your glutes, coming up here, holding. Bring the palms together with a very tight glute. We're going to come into a slight back bend, not much. Coming up, one more, forward fold. Hands on the shins, lengthen the back. Forward fold, bend your knees, slowly coming up. Roll the shoulders up and back. Excellent. Lifting up that right leg, nice and strong, onto the left. Bring your knee, your right knee towards your chest. As you do that, I want you to, again, tuck your tailbone under and then feel the stretch in that low back. Release, coming into the other side. Your left leg up, knee, press into the chest, tuck the tailbone under. Feel the stretch. Release, coming to the top of our mat, coming into sun salutations B, adding some more poses. I need my cheat sheet here already. We are coming up, arms overhead, come into your forward fold. stepping your right leg to the back. Now as you come into the lunge, check that knee, that left knee, is it over your ankle? Again, can you bring your hips a little bit lower so you feel the stretch into that right hip? Use the core on your exhale. Coming up, lifting arms overhead, straight or bent elbows. Sink a little bit deeper. Now my balance comes from my right toes. I am really pressing my right heel to the back. It engages my hip flexor a little bit more. We're holding. And we're going to bring that right heel down behind us. The outer blade of my right foot presses into the floor, and my right hip rotates to the front for my warrior one. If this is uncomfortable for your hips, you can open up that left foot a little bit to the outside, creating space. Come a little bit lower, right shoulder to the front. Holding, holding. Lift up that right heel. We're back into the crescent lunge. Right hand either on your block or on the floor under the shoulder. Twisting left side up towards the ceiling. Breathe, breathe. Now your left hand needs to be in line with your shoulder. Don't just swing it behind the shoulders. We're coming back again with core strength. Up, arms overhead. Coming into warrior two. Opening up that upper body. Bringing the left knee in line with your about mid-toe on your left foot. My right leg is strong. Bend that left knee. Can you bring your thigh parallel to the floor? You should be building up quite a bit of heat. Look over your left fingers. See if you can come just a little bit deeper. Now don't bring up that left thigh. You're going to come back into a peaceful warrior. My right hand reaches for my right calf. My left hand comes overhead, reaching for the back. Left shoulder away from the left hip. One more breath. Left hand on that left thigh. Bring the right arm up. You can stay here. If you have a block, you can put it on the floor. If you have the flexibility, bring that left hand down. I do not want your chest to collapse, right? You want to make sure that you're opening up the right shoulder in line with the left shoulder. We're breathing. Bring that right hand down. We're coming back into a lunge, supported by our hands. Step back into plank. Come into down dog. All right, take a couple of breaths. You're going to hold your breath. Not hold your breath, keep your breath going. Hold the breath cycle. I am going to turn around so that I can do it on the other side. All right, everyone. You can stay where you are. You can turn, whatever is best for you. Feet together. Coming up. And over. Good. Left leg this time. Step it back into a lunge. You might want to open up your legs a little bit wider. If we're on a railroad track, we are opening up the foundation. We create stability. Come up into your crescent lunge, arms overhead. Press that left hip to the front. Squeeze your left butt cheek and come down a little bit more. Holding the poses is tough. You have a tendency to hold your breath. Keep the breath going. Create heat. From the crescent lunge, come into the warrior one. Pressing that left heel down, outer blade of the foot. Press that left hip to the front. We are not opening anything up. Your shoulders, your hips should be facing your front. All right, a little bit deeper, everyone. Feel that left hip. Breathe, breathe. Lift up that left heel. Come back into your crescent lunge. Deep enough, maybe your block. Left hand down under the left shoulder. Right arm up. Now peel that arm out of your shoulder. Bring the right shoulder blade towards the spine. See if you can press into the left hand. Sometimes that creates opening in the chest. From here, again, with core strength. Coming up. Crescent lunge. Put your left heel down. You might have to adjust your feet a little bit. I would love to see that right heel in line with the instep of my left foot. Coming down low, shoulders and hips to the front. Gaze over the right fingers. Engage your inner thigh on the right so you can sink lower. You can keep your right knee over towards your mid-toe of your right foot. Good. Stay low in that right leg. Come back into peaceful. Don't come up into that right leg. Bring your right arm back. Reach. Breathe. Can you come a little lower with the left hand? Right elbow on that right thigh. Bring your arm up. A little bit of a breather here. If you want to go lower, bring that right hand lower. But you have to sink low in the hips, right? You are not going to hunch over. You are not sacrificing the upper back. Everything is open, stacked, strong. Back into the lunge. So I'm lifting up that left heel. Both hands on either side of my right foot. Back into plank. And down dog. Good. All right, we're taking a little breather here. You can stay in your down dog or you can come down. You can grab your towel, as I do, because I sweat very easily. All right, grab some water. This is the time to go ahead and grab your water. Not too much. We're getting into a little bit of core. So that means have your towel ready. I need my fan. There we go. All right, we're coming back onto all fours. We've been here before. So make sure that your hands are positioned under your shoulders. Make sure you lift that belly up. I want you to curl your toes under. Lift your knees. Bring the belly up. And we're coming into a shallow breathing. So because our belly is lifted, we are really hollowing here. You're going to have a little bit of a chest breathing, a little bit higher up. Hold it here, hold it here. Make sure that you are distributing your weight between your feet and your hands. This is full body, everyone. You feel your arms, you feel your back, you feel your front, you feel your thighs. Hold, hold. Breathe, breathe. Couple more cycles. We release, uncurl our toes, push our hips back, lengthen our arms. Bring our forehead close to the floor. Just hold. We're resetting. All right, we're coming into a side plank. I'm going to give you several options here. We are all going to come down on our elbow, which means shoulder, elbow, wrist 90 degrees. You can come on your knees. We want to push up that hip away from the floor. If you want one level more, you are going to scissor your legs right here. If you want more, you can stack your feet. We are narrowing our platform. We are holding. We are holding. Now, let that hip come a little bit closer to the floor and press it up. Again, lower and press up. Again, lower and press, lifting the top leg up, feeling the hip coming away from the floor. Bringing the leg down, support yourself, bring your knees down, push your hips back. Good work. All right. Keep it up, everybody. Keep your strength up. Let those endorphins go. It's good. Other side, I am going to just turn. We're coming back into curling the toes under. Spread out your fingers. Palms of your hands are very important here. Lift your knees. Bring the belly up towards the spine. Bring the elbows, the biceps, a little bit to your front. Hold, hold. We are creating heat. We are not holding our breath. Push yourself up out of the floor, your body weight and the gravity of the floor. Those are the two hardest things to work with, right? You have no cheating ability. You cannot lower your weights. You cannot make it a little bit easier. This is all you've got. We have a couple more. Hopefully your thighs are starting to shake a little bit. Knees down, uncurl toes, push your hips back. Good. We have one more side plank coming up. So just really, really relax your shoulders here. Maybe you need to move your shoulders up and back a little bit. Whatever works for you. Other side for our side plank. Our shoulder, again, our elbow. I want to make sure that you are not collapsing in that shoulder, right? Ear away from the shoulder. Options, knees, scissor, or stacked. Here we go. Lift up. Bring that arm up. I would love to see a little bit of a C shape. We are working our obliques here, our love handles. It'll look so good once those pools open, right? Here we go. We're going to lower slightly. We're going to bring it up. So where is your effort here? Away from the floor. That should be your exhale. Give me two more. No, three, because I think we did three on the other side. Lift your top leg. Keep your hip lifted. Breathe. Hand down, foot down, knees, butt down. And release. Good. Alrighty, grab some water if you need it. We have just a little bit more. We're almost there. We're going to come on our back. We are going to reverse what we just did. Remember, our core is front and back. Don't overdo it on the abs, right? Back is just as important. Glutes, hip flexors, all in that whole core scenario. All right, open up your feet, bring your head down. I would like you to bring your feet a little bit closer to your hips. Palms are down, press through the heels, squeeze your glutes, come up into your bridge. You're going to feel your quads a little bit more, which is what I want. You're going to breathe. You can use, again, your hands are crucial here. If you need the support, press into your palms, right? Do you feel it? You can lift your hips a little bit higher. You have no choice here but to squeeze the glute muscles, which is a good thing. Last one, we lower. All right, walk the feet a little bit farther out. We're going to have several options here. We're going to come up into a bridge. You can hold it here. If you want a little bit more, walk your hands under your low back, clasp your hands, bring the shoulder blades together so I'm coming up onto my triceps. I'm creating more height through the hips. And I'm holding. I'm breathing. Nice and easy. Then we release. First, unclasp the hands, open up the shoulder blades, release the hips back down, bring your knees to your chest. Right? This feels good for the low back. If you want a little bit more, you can bring your nose to your knees, curl up into a little ball. one more bridge. We can do it. Feet hip width apart. Start feet hip width apart. Come into the bridge on your exhale. Press through the heels. Good. Once you're in the bridge, I want you to walk your feet together. They should touch. Right? All the way into that left foot. I'm bringing my right leg in line with the left. Hold, hold. Keep that left hip up. Now point the right toes. Bring the leg up. And bring it down. Again. Up. And down. One more, one more. Where do you feel it? Left side, left glute. Lower and put down. Don't put your hips down. Lift up that right leg, left leg. Thigh in line with your thigh for now. Keep the glute on the right side lifted. Lifting the left leg up and lower. Lifting up. And again, lower. Keep that right hip up. One more, one more, one more. Your best right here. Up. Release. Foot down. Hips down. Grab your knees. Now, just kind of rock from side to side. Massage that low back. Circle the knees. Nice and slow. Good. Other side. One more squeeze. Nose can come up to the knees. You don't have to. And we release. To release your low back, open up your feet to the edges of the mat. Bring your knees together. You should feel the relaxing in the low back. Grab some water if you have to. Keep breathing. All right. For our hamstring stretch, if you have either a yoga strap or you have an old necktie of your husband's or you have your t-shirt or towel, it's all good. All right? I want you to focus on your low back here though. So, before we do this, let's reverse our cat-cow. So we're lying down. On the inhale, we are going to lift our low back up. On the exhale, lower it back down. One more. Lifting up. And lower. Good. Now, you should have no space under your low back. I want this to stay locked in. You're going to bend your left knee. On the inhale, grab the right knee, the top of the shin. On the exhale, flex your foot and then lengthen. So flexing the feet, you're going to find more activation in the back into the hamstrings. We will point in a little bit. You feel the quad, the front. But keep tucking that tailbone under. Now point that foot, lengthen that left leg. See if you can come into a little bit of a deeper stretch. Holding, holding. If you want to bring the nose up, you can do it. You don't have to. It is all according to what feels good for you today. Alrighty. Now, if you are just using your hands, I'm going to grab with my left hand the outside of my right foot. My right arm opens up in line with my right shoulder, and I'm slowly, slow being the key, bringing my right leg across my body to the left, keeping my right shoulder connected to the floor. So you are twisting your back and you are stretching the IT band, which runs from the right outer hip to the outside of your right knee. Always tight, never fails. That's okay. All right, slowly bend, bringing it back. Reconnect that low back into the floor. Remember that core. Bending the right knee, inhale, bending the left, and then lengthening that left leg. We are starting with a flexed foot. So inhale, I want you to think about creating length in that left hamstring. On the exhale, maybe you just want to soften a little bit, right? Somewhere. Maybe you're holding tension into your shoulders. Maybe on the exhale, you can bring that leg a little bit closer to your body. We are slowing down our breath. And then let's go ahead and point. Lengthen that right leg. You can either come up a little bit if that feels good. If not, you just stay down and enjoy. Our body should be nice and warm. You should be able to get good use out of this stretch. Right hand on the outside of my left foot. Anchor the left arm down in line with your left shoulder. Slowly bring that leg across. Wherever it ends up, it's all good. All I want you to feel is a nice twist in the left side and a good stretch in that left IT band. Because you are in a pretzel stretch, again, there's no three-dimensional breathing. It is all up into the sternum, up into your chest. That's okay. Don't worry, we'll get back into deep belly breath in just a few minutes. Release, come on your side. It doesn't matter which side it is, but I want you to be in a total pencil. So top to bottom, one straight line. Bend the top leg and grab your ankle. Close up those thighs. There should be no space. It should not come behind you. Good. Now, that left or the top heel comes towards the glute, and I am squeezing my top hip to the front. So it is not so much about what your foot, your heel is doing. Where do you feel the stretch? Again, right quad, hip flexor, all that's sitting down, which is fine. Nothing we can do about it. Good. Either roll over onto the other side, or you can swing your legs like I do, so you can kind of see what I'm doing. Again, straighten yourself out, bend that knee, grab the ankle, close up the thighs, and then all you have to do is press the top hip to the front. Always breathing. Release, come back on your back. All right, you might want to look for this. I am going to stretch my low back here. So, my top leg, my right leg is going to come over and across. My bottom leg, for me, my left, is going to bend at the knee, and I am grabbing that foot. Coming down as much as I can, I am going to bring that right shoulder into the floor. So you can see here, right, a good twist, a good low back stretch. So let's go ahead and do it. If you haven't already done it, come on your back, keep your left leg on the floor, cross your right leg over. You might have to come up in order to grab that left foot with your right hand. Once you are there, you're going to lower shoulders into the floor. Right shoulder comes to the floor. There we go. Keep breathing. Those twists are awesome for spinal realignment. They can be a little bit uncomfortable if you're not used to it just because of the breath. All right, let's come into the other side. So left knee crosses, right knee bends, left hand grabs that right foot. So it might take a little bit of wiggling to get into this pose. That is totally fine. This stretch, only do it when you're nice and warm, some kind of warm up. You know, sometimes I like to ride the bike for a few minutes. If this stretch is not enough, your right hand can push that left leg a little bit down. You're going to feel more in the right upper hip. we release. Good. Alrighty. One more twist, and then we are done. We are going to bring both knees up, feet are down. We're going to cross the right leg over the left and bring both knees over to the left. Right shoulder blade is in the floor. Couple deep breaths. Every exhale, see if you can release the outside of that right hip just a little bit more. And then we're going to come back, cross the left over the right. Moving the knees to the right, keep that left shoulder connected. One side will be tighter than the other. This is my tight side, it's my left. So I just have to pay a little more attention that I don't hold the breath. On every exhale, I try to just release, kind of melt into that floor. And then we release. Good. Staying on our back, we're going to open our feet a little bit wider. Our hands can be wherever they want to be. Palms are up. Now, if you open up your legs and you relax your hips, your knees and your toes are going to fall open to the side. You are just going to slowly close your eyes. Your breath should have completely slowed down, coming in and out through the nose. Now put both your hands on your low belly. And feel what it does once you take really deep inhales and exhales. It's going to rise and it's going to just fall to the floor. Just focus on that deep breathing for now. Your hands can either stay on your low stomach or they can come back to the sides. And then feel all the points of contact that your body makes with the floor. Scan your body. And then once you have done that, pay attention to your facial muscles. There's no tension in your jaw. Sometimes it helps if you bring a little space between the teeth. Maybe you want to bring your tongue to the roof of your mouth. Soften the area around your eyes. Your eyebrows are relaxed, forehead. We're going to hold this for just a little bit longer. If you feel thoughts creeping in, I don't want you to judge them. I want you to acknowledge them. Go back to the deep breathing. Sometimes it helps to count your breath. Inhale is 1. Exhale is 2. You go all the way up to 10. And then you start all over again. ahead and bring your attention back to the room. Deepen your breath. Bring a little movement into the hands, into the feet. Wiggle your toes, your fingers. And then stretch your arms overhead. Legs are long, arms overhead. And then slowly roll onto the right side of your body. Knees are bent, head is resting on your right upper arm. Gently come up into whatever seated position is comfortable for you. It doesn't matter where that is, how that is. Slowly just open your eyes. I hope you were able to leave something behind on the mat today. Somebody else will clean it up for you. I hope you feel a little bit calmer. And we will see each other on video again very soon. Thank you so much.